A new dog Pokemon supposedly leaked called Puudle? Take a look at this thing. It's been going around the internet on Reddit and Twitter and many more places. I'm gonna write it off as fake, but we've got a lot to talk about today about the Riddler. We've got rumors and much more, so let's dive in. So last week we talked a lot about how we were anticipating a Nintendo Direct to be coming that could be including Pokemon information. And while I still think that very much so could be the case based on some of the different insiders talking about it and someone just casually mentioning it on their stream and being pretty matter of fact that it was gonna happen, Nintendo announced this morning that there is going to be a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct presentation featuring roughly 20 minutes of information coming on 6/22. That's in 2 days from now. Now, this original Direct was scheduled to be towards the end of the month, but I don't think that this Xenoblade Direct actually writes that one off. So I'll keep you guys posted on the status of that. I think if they wanted to cram 20 minutes into this, it would make sense that they'd want to kind of keep everything else separate, right? Because this is a pretty big title on its own. So we'll wait and see the Nintendo Direct development, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, shifting gears to the Riddler, the Chinese Riddler, Riddler Coup, retweeted this post of SPRIGATITO. And SPRIGATITO gets really tall, becoming a long cat and standing up on its back 2 feet. Now, whether or not this has any sort of significance, I found it interesting that the Riddler retweeted this artist Zero Artbox, maybe indicating that SPRIGATITO becomes a bit of a long cat of sorts, which they kind of already did with Gigantamax Meowth, so I'm not sure that's the idea. Or maybe they're just illustrating that it ends up standing up on its back 2 feet, as he says that it can stand. So keep an eye on that as well. I'm not convinced that this is anything super significant, but I thought it was worth mentioning. The Riddler then goes on to pull up this poll from last month, actually, talking about the different things that they'll tease. One of the options was more info about the starters. The other one was the Gen 9 Objectmon. Then there was a riveting new regional form, and then last was a Gen 9 Waifumon. Now, he points towards the fact that he riddled the starter Pokemon already, and the riddle that he put out was that we're gonna basically be getting the typings for these various starter Pokemon. We're gonna get a Dark SPRIGATITO, a Ghost Fuecoco, and a Fighting type Quaxly. We'll have to see what happens with that, but that was the most recent riddle. Speaking of starter Pokemon, starting today, I just launched a brand new set of t-shirts over on TeamShiny.com. We've got all the grass starters available, as well as the water ones, so check those out, and the fire ones, well, they'll come eventually, but you guys can use code SUMMER to get 15% off your purchase if you pick up 3 t-shirts or more, so deck out your closet, look awesome. I'm repping Squirtle today. Team Shiny is phenomenal, so check it out at TeamShiny.com and treat yourself. You'll look awesome, seriously. The next part of this poll was talking about the Gen 9 Objectmon, which was from the promotional video 1, PV1, and we're gonna talk a lot about that in this video. They then go on to talk about the riveting new regional form. And it's a picture of Diglett. We'll have to see what Diglett's importance is. There's a lot of talks about Dunsparce potentially getting a new evolution, Tauros having some sort of regional form or regional evolution or something like that. And then the Gen 9 Waifumon, he indicates that there's actually a handful of those, and we'll just go from there. He puts out a calendar talking about the different months of the year, January, February, March, etc. March, the 3rd month of the year, was actually when he was talking about the gimmick. He gave us the number 3 as a potential indicator, which is why a lot of people have speculated that there's going to be 3 types in the game. Talks about the boxes and the box legendaries, which we obviously got those hints about the different Rhydon Pokemon. We know that Koraidon and Miraidon are going to be ride Pokemon most likely based on all the things that we have. Number 5, or May, was about regional forms. There was the riddle about the Tauros, and then we also have a riddle potentially regarding maybe Snubbull or something like that. We've also got some discussions about Dunsparce, which was kind of teased in a tweet that the Riddler had put out. Now, we're currently in June, and he mentions that he's going to talk about a new Pokemon, which has been this new regional form, or this new Objectmon, rather, I should say. It's the new Objectmon. And then, of course, next month is characters, which we talked about in our last video, as the Riddler's been talking a little bit about the various characters in the game, like gym leaders and so on and so forth. So, going back to this new Objectmon, we had the riddle from last week, and a lot of people speculated, including myself through our videos, that the new Objectmon was going to be based on a coin and was going to evolve into a mimic chest, right? We talked about that. It seemed very clear that the riddle that he was pointing out with the Tapu Koko, the 3-stage riddle, was pointing towards a coin, right? What has a heads and a tail, but no, I forget what the riddle was, but it was a coin was the answer. No body, maybe, I don't know. The coin was the answer. So we're expecting to get a coin object Pokemon, and the Riddler puts out another post, and the post says Key 108, Key Gen 6, Key Cell, and then Key P. Now, I don't know what the P is, but there's been a big breakdown here, and one of our favorite leak analysts, Soul Silver Art, actually goes and tries to break it down. And I think they actually did a really good job breaking this all down. They are indicating that the key for Cell was regarding collecting Zygarde cores going back a few generations. If you guys remember, we got to collect the Zygarde cores and ultimately construct to make Zygarde, and then the Zygarde, 10%, Zygarde 50%, and then obviously the ultimate Zygarde form. Key 108, well, 108 is very representative of Spiritomb. Spiritomb is a ghost type, and we use the same collecting method to get it in Legends Arceus. So Zygarde cells, 108 Spiritomb. We just played a game where we collected Spiritomb cells. Generation 6 could be a handful of things. Soul Silver points out Aegislash being an object Pokemon, being a ghost and steel type. I think that the Gen 6 could be relating to Klefki, one of the new Pokemon, of course, Klefki being a fairy and steel type Pokemon and an Objectmon in itself. In terms of what P could be, it could be golden, it's a coin that's golden. We'll have to wait and see. Is it gonna be a treasure chest, etc.? But it could have something to do with Klefki. Klefki actually has a lock on its centerpiece, which is interesting, and there's 4 little pieces of Riddle here. Klefki has 4 keys attached to it. So ultimately what we're getting at here is we know that the Objectmon was teased in promotional video 1. That's what the Riddler is saying. He overlays this treasure with these different keys, and I think it would make so much sense if the new Objectmon was a coin, or maybe it had something to do with Klefki, I don't know, that part's a little unsure, but it's a coin and you have to collect 100, however many of them, right? Not 108, not, whatever, 100, but you have to collect them. It seems as though they like that, right? They did it with the Diglets in the Isle of Armor. They did it with the Zygarde cells. They did it in that, and they did it obviously with the Spiritomb. So this idea of having these like little collection quests makes so much sense. And what better to collect than this coin object Pokemon? I feel like it makes so much sense. I want to believe that it's too obvious now that we have all the pieces, but at some point we'll solve the riddles, right? So I'm all on board on this, man. I think we nailed it. I think Soul Silver and the community nailed this one. I think we're getting a coin Objectmon as we thought before, and it's going to be part of a collection quest in the game. I don't know what happens when you do it. Maybe you get to evolve it into the chest. I don't know. But I think it would make sense that you're collecting this treasure, right? And the last thing I wanted to touch on today, I thought this was actually really key. Delta Umino Tommy posted this and said, it may be more core than you imagine regarding multiplay. And we saw them touch on this in the first trailer, which means that it's something that's relatively significant, or the second trailer rather, is the 4 players, right? The fact that you can play with up to 4 players and explore this open world, much like you could kind of do in Sword and Shield Wild Area, but it wasn't that good, right? It was like very laggy, it wasn't a good experience. Well, this is saying that you can play with up to 3 friends, and if you actually remember, and this is such a good call out, in the original trailer, PV1, the promotional video 1, there's 4 Nintendo Switches sitting on the desk. Now, you might be like, okay, that was clearly strategic, right? There's no way that that was not intentional. But now we've had 2 promotional videos about this game, and in the first one, they teased the fact that there's 4 players, and now they called out the fact that there's 4 players. It may be that this 4-player functionality is actually better than we think. It might be more important. Like, when I hear about it, I'm like, whatever, not a big deal. But it may actually be a significant feature in the game, and they may have fixed some of the issues that kind of happened from being in the wild area. So fingers crossed on that one. I hope so. I think that'd be pretty sweet. So now we got you all caught up on the riddles, rumors, news, and more. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Don't forget to head over to TeamShiny.com and pick up our brand new grass starter designs. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comments section below, and you can use code SUMMER to get 15% off. You pick up 3 t-shirts or more. Thanks so much for watching this one, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.